So the first question, and again, I'm going to ask both of you, is sort of what was your journey to coming to Friends of the Children? How did you find your way to this work, to this volunteer work, to this as a job? Joe, can I start with you? What was your journey to Friends?
I moved here with my wife about 4 years ago, and I got a job with the J Boys Ranch, which many of you probably know. I worked there for a couple of years, and without a doubt, it was the hardest job that I've ever had in my life. And Duncan Campbell, our founder, had a similar journey where he was working in the juvenile justice system trying to get through to some of these kids. And by the time they're 14, 15, 16, it's really tough. A lot of these things are sadly really cemented in who they're going to be. It's not hopeless, but it's really a grind for them, for their families, for the community. And when I heard about Friends of the Children, and that we were getting to some of these kids in kindergarten, 5, 6 years old, that I knew the young men, some of whom were really just brilliant young men. I just think that if someone, a mentor or myself, someone had been there for them when they were in kindergarten, they wouldn't be where they were. And I wanted to get in where the getting was good. And that's kindergarten for these kids and these families. So when Kim brought it here to Central Oregon, I said I want in. So.
Awesome. So Josh, I know your role is slightly different, but would you mind telling us sort of about how you came to Friends and what that means, how you work with Friends now?
So I've been a local elementary educator for over 10 years. And, like many of you, one of our biggest stresses is time. And in the classroom, it's how much time do I devote to certain lessons or how much time can I give each student individually is one of the big stresses, right? So I heard about this great idea where Friends of the Children has somebody that kind of breaks the barrier of time. Because so many times I feel like I get to know a kid over the course of a year, and that year's over, and that relationship kind of dissipates. So sometimes, especially the last couple of years, I've really felt like I've almost, as a classroom teacher, almost been a disservice or maybe not what a kid needs, right, to help them along. When I heard about Friends of the Children and that they have somebody who's there from kindergarten to 12th grade, to me that seemed like a brilliant idea and a very needed idea for kids that need more support. And so to me, I'd wanted to volunteer and help out, and that's what I did this summer.
That's awesome. Would you mind telling us just a little bit more about sort of what you did this summer, how you volunteered, what that maybe looked like, just briefly?
Yeah, so this summer, if you can imagine, so I'm a teacher who loves science, especially STEM. And, this is, in my mind here, this is a perfect few days in July when I have kids outside on the playground and there's rockets flying in the air. And, one day we're dissecting fruit and we're like looking at seeds and the kids are trying to collect fake animal scat around and identify things. And there's solar ovens and all the other kids from the neighborhood are coming up like, what are you guys doing? That looks so cool. And so to me, that is like a perfect teaching moment. Admittedly, that was much about what I like and what this is it for me, right? But I've also had other experiences and where I've seen the impact that the Friends have made. So it's not about my personal giving to the Friends of the Children. It's about what actually the service given by the Friends themselves. I work at Bear Creek Elementary School now, and I can't tell you, I get to see several kids that are involved in Friends of the Children every morning, and some of them come in, and I hear for days about, I get to see Sarah, I get to see Joe in a couple of days, and they are excited, and I see Joe and Sarah and Corey and all those friends in the lunchroom eating lunch with their buddies, and there is that spark that Joe mentioned in the video, and it's amazing, and it is so needed, as far as I have experienced and working with young people. Wow.
Awesome. I just want to say, it sounds to me like you ran a mad scientist inventor camp, sort of. And if you ever want to like make that available for people over the age of 18, there might be some people who want to, yeah, exactly, get involved in that. Live auction item number 12 coming up. Think about it. So the one other question that I wanted to ask both of you was, if you, I know that part of the amazing thing about this program is the incredible number of hours and days and months and years, 12 and a half years, that you spend with the people in this program, with the kids that you get to know. But I'm curious, out of all of that amazing time, is there a moment or is there something you can remember that's like, this is it, this is why this makes it all worth it? Because I'm sure not every day is easy. Do you have that kind of like, this is it moment?
Yeah, all the time. But one that just happened this last week, I was with one of my kids at school hours, and it was PE. And sometimes I participate. At this game, I was just kind of hanging back, and he was doing his warm-ups. He was doing a great job. And to tell you a little bit about this kid, he's really going through it right now. He's experiencing homelessness. He's staying in a trailer. Dad's going to be in prison for a while. He just bounced back state to state. I lost him in person for about 6 weeks. He's been through it at the age of 7, stuff that I think of me as a 7-year-old would have crumpled. And this kid is at school. He's happy. The resiliency is off the charts. And I'm watching him participate in PE, and he just turned around and he went to me. And I like signed it back, and then he came over and he was just like, "This means I love." So he had to explain it to me. And I was, this kid is my hero. Like I just cannot believe the strength in this little person. Almost every day is that moment.
I love it. He's like taking care of you, right? He's like looking over, like thinking you're lonely, so I better make sure. Yeah. So the same question. Do you have like a this is it kind of moment, like this is why?
So it has to do with Joe here as well, and we have a buddy that we work with together here at a school, and sometimes that buddy is very active, and some days it can be pretty frustrating. But when Joe walks in, when Joe gets a chance to sit down and have a meal and stuff, this kid is a superstar, right? And he's loved, he's cared for, he's got his support there all the time, and I think it's amazing. I've seen it not just once but many times. So this is reminded most of the times I see these friends in the building. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Josh. Would you give Josh and Joe one more big round of applause? Thank you.